Hi guys, welcome to the channel. In this video, I want to talk about the predictable fight between Kashin Koji and Jigen. As we've seen in the last chapter in Boruto chapter 43, that Jigen is at about 10% of his chakra reserves. He's been drained from the fight between Naruto and Sasuke, and we sort of see Jigen come back to the current organization base because he has already identified that Jigen might be weakened at this time, and as he enters, we see him talking and saying that he wants to destroy Jigen. He wants to take him out, and I think that's exciting. It's an exciting thing, and that's why we've decided to make this video about it and predict the possibilities of what may happen in the next chapter. So now, before we can even dwell into the fight itself, and I think in this kind of a fight, we have to, the conditions of the fighters will determine the output of the fight. So looking at Jigen himself being at 10% of his chakra reserves, and the fact that he is working together with an Otsutsuki. I don't know whether the Otsutsuki has possessed his body, or the Otsutsuki Inshiki has possessed his body or not, or whether they're working in conjunction with each other. So now, having said that, he may be at 10% of his chakra, but because of the fact that he is with Inshiki Otsutsuki, there's a lot that we can expect from him still, even at 10%, because he would still have some of his abilities, and he would those abilities could be very dangerous abilities even at 10%, if the user knows how to use those abilities, which in this case Inshiki Otsutsuki is the mastery of his own technique, and he's quite good at stealing chakra as well, and using the Kama seal would with strong regenerative abilities is some of the things that we can expect in this fight. So I think the condition is that Jigen is at a weakened state, but his abilities are still there, and maybe his abilities will be limited by the chakra reserves at the current moment. Now, let's move on to what we can expect from a fighter like Kashin Koji. Um, as predicted in one of my videos and in my channel, if you go into the list of my videos in my channel, you would sort of see that I've done a video about Jiraiya being Kashin Koji, or Kashin Koji being Jiraiya. And my theory around that is that Jiraiya is Kashin Koji, simply because of the few reasons that I've stipulated in that video. If you want to see the full, if you want to understand the full detail why I said that, so now you have to go and watch that video so that you can understand why I said that. And now in this fight, I'm just gonna talk about the fight after pain, or the occurrence of events that might have occurred. It's a prediction that I'm about to make here, or it's a theory that I'm about to come up with here. The events that might have occurred after Jiraiya was defeated by Pain in Naruto Shippuden. I do think that Jiraiya would have returned if Jiraiya didn't die, as if the theory is confirmed. Jiraiya didn't die, so I think Jiraiya would go to Mount Kyubi, where the Toads live. He might have done some reverse summoning, and if he had done something like that and he would have arrived there, he would ask the Toads to show him a way to get stronger, or stronger beyond Sage mode. And this is my theory now. my theory is that if you look at the toad that's being displayed on the screen now, you would sort of see that this is a different kind of a design of a toad from Gamakichi, Gamamaru, the toads that we are used to. So now this design of a toad, I think, is a different clan of a toad. This is what I think it is. It's a different clan of a toad. I think from Mount Kyubi, Jiraiya was then introduced to a different clan of a toad, and this clan of a toad would have a different way of using the Sage Mode, and I think a different way of using the Sage Mode would be stronger than the current Sage Mode, or 2 times stronger than the current Sage Mode that we know of. And I think this is where everything is going to get interesting, because I think Jiraiya would have been sent to harsh conditions to go and train to become stronger than he was, and to be trained by the different clans of the toads. And this clan of the toads would be stronger than the current clan of the toads that we know, and would train Jiraiya. I know some of you guys are gonna start thinking, what is this guy talking about? I'm sure he's talking bullshit. It's just a theory that I came up with, and if you don't like the theory, that's okay. If you like the theory, yeah. I think it could be a valid theory that would explain the different design of the toad, and it's the only thing that I could think of, and it's the reason why I think this Kashin Koji would have more confidence now that he would be able to take out Jigen. Now, after having said that, and it's another thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that in the organization itself, the Kara organization, the circumstances that exist in the Kara organization itself, is the fact that it seems like some of the members of the Kara organization knows that Kashin Koji wants to take out Jigen, and with that said, it's something that will give rises to different kinds of questions as to whether how stable is the organization, and what's keeping the organization together, and how many members of the organization would want to take out Jigen, and how much support does Kashin Koji have in the organization itself in terms of trying to take out Jigen. And this is some of the things that may determine or may put Kashin Koji in an advantage in this fight. And I do think that with the current condition that we've seen in the last chapter, and the fact that Jigen is drained, is almost out of chakra, and Kashin Koji seems to be active and is full and is at 100%, and probably has learned the Sage Mode that I was talking about. And looking at Jigen and all his techniques, what can possibly happen in a fight like that? I think that Jigen's chances at the moment are very slim. Maybe he might show us a technique that we've never seen before, but even so, I think if Kashin Koji can find a counter for such a technique, which maybe that technique would require Jigen to use less chakra. Even so, if Kashin Koji is able to counter such a jutsu, I think Kashin Koji stands a really good chance. And if Kashin Koji is really indeed Jiraiya, I think he's already analyzed Jigen's way of fighting, and Jigen's jutsu is the one that can minimize objects and enlarge objects at will. The Kama Seal techniques, I think Kashin Koji by now is already analyzed those Kama Seals techniques, like the teleportation, the regenerative ability that comes with the karma, the physical enhancements. He has already analyzed those juices and it's already come up with a counter for them. And to be honest, at 10% of Jigen's chakra level, given the fact that Kashin Koji would be at 100% and had learned new techniques in Sage mode, I think Jigen's chances here are very slim, and I think Jigen will be taken out. This is my conclusion, that Jigen will definitely be taken out. Jigen was going to be destroyed. And then the bigger question would be, if Jigen is destroyed, what will then happen to Ishiki or Tsutsuki? And that's a bigger question, and I've got a little bit of an answer for that. And this is the reason why in episode 1 of Boruto we've seen Boruto preparing to fight Kawaki. To be honest, I think Ishiki is gonna take over Kawaki's body from this moment on. While Jigen is destroyed, Ishiki is just gonna move over and take over Kawaki's body. And I think Kawaki is gonna try to resist Ishiki, but it's gonna be difficult for him to resist Ishiki. And as a result, that's why we end up seeing Ishiki developing himself and destroying the village and everything. I thank you very much for staying. Please critique and comment on the section below and subscribe. Thank you very much.